Hello everyone and welcome in a new video. And in this video what we are going to do, we are going to understand about a question which is a product of an array except self. Okay, so this is a very easy question, not an easy question, this is a very tricky question and very popular question. So let's start to understand that what this question wanna say and how we can able to solve this question, the product of an array except self. This is a very favorite question for an interview, so you have to pay attention on this question. Okay, so the question is that given an integer array nums, return an array answer such that the answer I is equal to the product of all the element of a num except num I. Means what we have to do is we have to find the multiplication of all the element except the current ith element. And what we understand from the next line is that the product of a prefix or a suffix of a num is guaranteed to fit in a 32-bit integer. So that's basically a 32-bit integer. This is what this question says, that the num is basically a 32-bit integer. Okay, and the last line says that you must have an algorithm to run it is in an own complexity. Means we can create an array and we cannot do more than that thing. Okay, so and without using the division operation. This is what make this question very interesting, because the question says that basically if we see the test case, 1 2 3 4, so okay, so what it says that, okay, wait a minute. So what this test case says that we have an input, and input is like 1 2 3 and 4, and we have an output, and output is look like 24 12 8 and 6. So I hope this is an output. So output is 24 12 8 and 6. So what this question wanna say is that you have to perform a multiplication. Means we have 1 2 3 and 4. You have to perform a multiplication, but you have to put that answer in the current ith element. For example, if ith element is this one, means value of I is 0. So what you have to do is in output 0 element value is the multiplication of all these numbers, all the rest number except self. This is what an important thing is. So 4 3 12 12 to 24. So the 0 index is 24. 0 index value is 24. Simply when I is equal to 1 means the ith value is now 2. So what we have to do is we have to multiply every element except the current one. Means we have to multiply 3 and 4, and then whatever the result is we have to multiply that by 1. So 4 3 12 12 and 1 is basically 12. So one element is, means the current element is what, 12. Now the value of I is equal to 2. So what's the value of the second index is basically leave the current index and multiply the rest. So 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, which is become 8. So index 2, value of index 2 will become 8. And after that we have I is equal to 3. So when I is equal to 3, so we have to leave this one, we have to leave the third index value which is 4, we have to leave this thing, and we have to multiply 3 2 and 1. So if you multiply this you will get your answer, which is 6. So our final output is 24 12 8 and 6. So here you can see that our answer is successfully matched with the output given by the question. Okay, so I hope you understand that how we have to solve this question. Now what's the basic approach should be? If I not read a question, if I say if I see the input and output, then what should be our basic approach? So the approach will be like we have an input. So what we are going to do is we are multiplying every number. Means we are finding the one fixed value. If I multiply all these number and finding a fixed value, means if you multiply all the number, what it will be like 4 3 12 24 24 into 1, which is 24. So if I multiply all element, we will get 24. Now what I do is for the output 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index. Okay, what I do is, whatever the input in our 0 index, which is 1, so divide the value of the 0 index by the multiplication of all the elements. So this is what a basic approach is. So if I divide 24 by 1 for the 0th index, we will get 24. Now for the 1 index, what the value in a 1 index? Let's make indexing as well, 0, 1, 2 and 3. So for the 0 index, the value is 1, so 24 divided by 1, which is nothing, 24. For the other one, 24 divided by 2, which is 12, so the value of first index is 12. For the second one, means 24 divided by, what's the value of second index? Second index value is 3. 24 divided by 3, which is 8, so this will become 8. And 24 divided by the third index value, which is 4, so 24 divided by 4, which is nothing, 6. So this is our final output. So that output will definitely match with this. Yeah, definitely match with this. So this is what a basic approach is. Okay, and this is what a very easy approach to solve this question. But if you read this question very carefully, you can see that we have to solve this question without using the division operation. And here what we are going to do, multiplication is good, multiplication is correct, but we cannot perform these division operation. We cannot perform these division operations. So how we can solve this question? Okay, so this is what our problem is again. Okay, so we simply use our whole brain and get an answer, but this answer is not acceptable because the question says that we are not gonna perform the division operation to submit this question. Then how we can solve this question? So if you read a question very carefully, so here is one more line written that you must write an algorithm that run in on time complexity. So when the time complexity become on, if you create an array, then your definitely time complexity become on. So now our second intuition will be like, with the help of an array, how we can solve this question, because with the help of variable, if I try to do that, so I have to use a division operation, so I cannot submit this question. And the question says that we have to solve this with our on time complexity as well. So for that we definitely have to use an array. Now how we will solve this question? So what I am going to do is, I am creating two arrays, and let's say one array is a left array, another is a right array. Why I say this thing, left array and the right array? Why I give this name? So it is clear when I simply show you that how we fill these arrays. Okay, so now what's gonna happen is, now what I am going to do is, we have a 4 element in an array. Now what I am going to do is, for the left array I place the first element as 1 and leave space for the rest of the element, and for a right array I place one extremely right and put some space for the rest of the elements. Now I have to calculate these elements. Now what happen if I multiply these two array? Because I can do multiplication operation, I cannot perform division operation. I can easily do multiplication operation. So what happen if I multiply this, then I get some value. If there is a 24, then I can multiply it by 1, I will get 24. If here we have 6, means here we have 24, we are multiplying 24, so output will be like 24 space, 2 space for these two blocks. And if I get 6 here, then I definitely multiply by 6, so we will get 6. So our output should be look like the output given by the question, which is 24 and 6 is there from a left and right, and here 24 and 6 is there from a left and right. Now the main question is that how I get these values. This is what the main question is, very important question is. This is what an important question. Okay, so how I can find these values? So this is the task. So what basically I can do is, I iterate over a left array. What I do is, I iterate over a left array, and what I do is, I check, what basically I do is, for a left array I iterate. Okay, So I iterate for a left array, so int I is equal to from a 0, because I starting left. Why I said it left array? Because I starting from a 0. So our input, let's say it nums, our input is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now what gonna happen is I starting from a 0, so 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, and till I is less than nums dot length. So this is a very easy condition. This is a very simple thing which I write. Okay, so this is, and now what I do is I put left array of ith element. Left array of ith element means left array of 0th element. If I do like this, so but what I do is I already put 1 on a 0th element, so I cannot start it from a 0. I have to start it from a 1. Now how I can make something that, how I can find the value of this thing, this block, this block, this block. So for this, what I can do is I can take this value and I can take some value from this array and I can easily make the values. So this is what my intuition is. Okay, so what I do is I write left array, and I take this element which is I minus 1, because it's a 0 index and current ith value is 1, so I minus 1, and multiply it with an not a left array, and multiply this with a input given in a question, which is nums I. So what gonna happen if I write like this? So not nums I, because if I write like this nums I, it means I started from a second index, but I simply leave first element. Why I leave first element? I really don't know that thing. So why I left? So simply take that as well. So I minus 1. So if I do like this, so now what gonna happen? I will get this value. Yeah, definitely I will get this value. So now if I run, if I execute this program, what gonna happen is, let's see this, what are the outputs that we get. Left I means this is 1 dash dash dash, so 0 index, 1 index, 2 index and 3 index. So for this index, left I means currently we are on this index, and what's value is I minus 1. I minus 1 means 1. What's the value? 1. Here you can see the what's the value, 1, multiply by what's the value from a 0 index in a nums, which is also 1. So if I multiply 1 by 1, what will get? We will get 1. So I write 1. So I write left array element as 1. Definitely no problem. And again for the next, when I is equal to, from 1 I become 2. So now it's in a this position, in a second position. So what is that? I minus 1. I minus 1 becomes means 2 minus 1. What's the value? Value is 1. So 1 multiply by nums I minus 1. What's the value of I? 2. 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1, which is this one. And what's the value? Value is 2. So 1 multiply by 2, we will get 2. So now we will get this position value as well, which is 2. After that I become 3, which is the last index as well. So this is also work. So for this, for the third one, I minus 1, left array I minus 1. What's the value? Value is 2. So 2 multiply by and the 3, which is, and I minus 1 for the nums, means for the input. I minus 1 means 3 minus 1, which is 2. So what's the value? Value is 3. So if I multiply these, so 3, 2 and 6, we will get 6. So the value of last element is what? 6. So here you can see that I can get 6 at last. So 1, 2 and 6. So if I multiply this, I will definitely get 6 at the last. So what my intuition is, I am going in a right direction, because I want to make 6 from a last, and with the help of this thing I can able to do that thing. With the help of these things, these loop, I can able to do that. Now we do similar thing with the right array as well, but I said it right array because I now start from a right, because if I write 1, if I make 2 array and I write 1 as well here, and here I write nothing. So if I do like this, so we are doing the same thing what we do in a left array. So there is no difference between this, we will get the same answer. So we are not gonna do that thing. So now what we have to do is, I write 1 at the last, I make one fixed position in right array. Now with the help of that I solve this. So for int I is equal to 1, if I write like this, you will get an error, because you are not starting from a starting, you are starting from a end right now. Okay, so for end you have to write nums dot length minus 2. Why I write minus 2? Minus 1 is already fixed, means 1 is already fixed. So minus 2 means I have to find the value of this position. Simple. Okay, so minus 2 till I is less than equal to 0 and I minus minus. And what do in an above section, we are going to perform the same thing in this section as well. So we have a number 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we do indexing 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3, and we have a right array as well. So dash 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 and 1 is fixed, and indexing will be like 0, 1, 2, 3. So right array, I write in a short, right array of ith element is equal to right array of I plus 1. Why I write I plus 1? If I write I minus 1, which means now the index of indexing, now it's a game of an indexing. Okay, so now nums dot length means 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 means second position. We are right now here, so it means what? Second position. Okay, so second position I means we are finding the value of this. So right I means right second position. Okay, so I plus 1. Why write I plus 1? If I write I minus 1, so it becomes 2 minus 1, which is 1. So I am coming in this position, but here you can see that I have nothing. I write 1 from the last. I basically make fixed value at last. So what I have to do is to get that value, I have to write I plus 1. So if I write 2, I plus 1 means 2 plus 1, which is 3. So now I move in this position, and what's the value of this? Which is 1. So 1 multiply. Now what we have to do is same thing and do an above, I plus 1 for the nums value for the input one. So what's the value? Value is 4. So now what it become? It become 4. So I have to write 4 here. We will get a value from a 2. Now it become 1. Now we are in this position. So I plus 1, 1 plus 1 means 2. What's the value of 2? Value of 2 is 4. So 4 multiplied by nums of 4, nums of I plus 1. So nums of I plus 1 is what? 1 plus 1, which is 2, means 3. So 4 by 3, and if you do it, you will get 12 as an answer. And so this is what 12 I get, and after 1 we get 0. So we are in right now in a 0 index. So what's the value of a previous one? I plus 1, 0 plus 1, 12 multiply by what's the value in a nums? 0 plus 1, which is 2. So which is 2. So 12 multiplied by 2, so 12 to 24. So we will get right array value as well. And here you can see that our leftmost value is 24. Our leftmost value is 24. So now you can see that if I multiply this thing, I will get some answer. So what's the right array value? 24, 12, 4 and 1, 24, 12, 4 and 1. So if you multiply this, what you will get? 24 multiplied by 1, 24, 12 multiplied by 1, 12, 4 multiplied by 2, 8. And this is what our final output is look like. So if I match this output with the question, then definitely it match 12, 24, 8 and 6. 12, 24, 8 and 6 means what I think to solve this question, what my intuition is correct. My approach to solve this question is correct. Okay, why I choose array? Because the question says that I have to do in an ON complexity. Okay, so this, and why I choose multiplication over division? Because division is not allowed. We have to solve this without using division. That's why I solve multiplication. Here I use multiplication to solve this question. Here I use multiplication to solve this question, and here with the help of this I solve this question. So we are going to solve this question. Okay, so we understand about whole logic that how we are going to solve this question with the help of arrays. Now it's time to solve the question. Now let's see that how we can solve this question with the approach which basically we discuss right now. Okay, so now what we have to do is first of all we have to create an array. First of all, what we have to do, we have to create an array and initialize the first and last element of both the array. So what we are going to do is we are going to create an array. So left array is equal to new int, and here I have to pass the size of an array. So what we are going to do is we are taking the size in n variable, so that I simply write n where we have to write the size, we have to declare the size. So n nums dot length. So with the help of this I simply calculate the length of an array. So after that, now I initialize one. Okay, so I initialize one array. Now I have to initialize the other array, which is a write array is equal to new int, and this is also the same size of the input array. Now after that, what we have to do is we have to initialize the left array first value. What I have to do, initialize the left array first value, because with the help of this I can able to calculate the things, and right array last value, which is 1, and basically I write it as 1. Okay, so now how we do this thing? So left left array 0 index is equal to 1, and right array n minus 1 index is equal to 1. Okay, so we declare the indexing of a left and right arrays. Now what we have to do is we have to simply create a loop, and simply multiplying the things which we do. What we are going to do is for the left array, what we do, left array element, when I have to put the values, I have to assign the values of the left array. What I am going to do is left array minus 1 means the element which why I write this one, because with the help of this I can able to solve this question, because I say left array I minus 1. So for that I should be start the loop from 1. If I start from 0, then definitely it give me an index out of bound error. Okay, so left array I minus 1, now it says it indicate the left array 0 element, which I already declare, which is 1. So now it's not giving an error, and because I declare it value already. So this is what the main thing you have to know. Less than n I plus plus, and left array of ith element is equal to left array of I minus 1 multiply by the input array of I minus 1. Simple. Okay, so we multiply the 0 index of left array and the 0 index of nums array. Okay, so we already declare the left array is left array of 0th element, which is 1, and for this one for the numth element, for basically this value, I get this value from an input 0th element, which is already declared, which is 1. Okay, so now what going to do is when I is equal to 1 multiply by 1. When I is equal to 2, what going to happen? 1 multiply by 2. When I is equal to 3, what going to happen? 2 multiply by 3, and we will get this value. Okay, after that, what we have to do is when I successfully create a left array, now it's time to create a right array. So I is equal to, now from where I have to start, because I declare the right array last element as 1. So what I have to do is I have to start from a second last element. Okay, so how I basically do that? What I do is nums length minus 2 means n minus 2. Why I write n minus 2 not n minus 1? Because n minus 1 is already declared, so I have to write n minus 2. Okay, so what is n? N is basically the length. So when I write nums dot length, it basically give a value 4, but indexing is start from a 0, so that's why n minus 1 is the last element and n minus 2 is the second last element. Okay, so this is a very basic thing. I hope you know this thing. Now what we have to do is we have to go till 0 and I minus minus, and now what I have to do is I have to fill this right array of I element as right array I plus 1 multiply by nums I plus 1. Why I write I plus 1? Because I already declare the last element. So when I write I plus 1, it means it indicates the last element and the last element of nums. If I write I minus 1, it means it indicate the previous element. It indicate the previous element, and that element is basically not initialized right now. N minus 3 is not initialized, so I cannot write I minus 1. Okay, so I have to write I plus Okay, so this is it. Now I declare left array and right array. Now after that, what I have to do is I have to multiply the both arrays so that we will get our output. Okay, we have to multiply both the arrays to get an output. So how we do that? So for that we have to we need a loop. So int I is equal to 0 to I less than n to I plus plus. Now what I have to do, I have simply multiply the array and put it in a result. So what I do is I simply change the input. So nums is what the input array. So what I do is I simply change this and return this nums rather than creating a new array to basically get the result. Okay, so you can also do that thing, but what I am going to do is right now I am simply changing the input array. Okay, so what I have to do is left array minus multiply right array. So left array ith element multiply right array I element. So when I do this, I will get a result in a nums. So what I do is I return nums. Now if you run this program, so here you can see that our program is successfully run, and when I click on submit, our program is successfully submitted. Okay, so our program is successfully submitted. So I hope you understand the approach to solve this question. This is a very important question for a placement point of view and for basically the knowledge that how we solve this question without using a division method. So because this approach which I simply explain you, this approach is used in so many questions, so this is very important. So now if you want to practice more question on this, what you have to do is this is called prefix sum. By the way, this thing is called prefix sum, or this approach is basically, and similar question you want to try, you can try like tapping rainwater and these question basically. Okay, so which is done with the same similar approach. So you can try these questions, and this is all about the product of an array except self. So thank you for watching this video, like the video and subscribe my channel.